I got Titcoin.org just in case. No mames, way. No. You know, I take it. I recant doubting that CFB is Satoshi. Satoshi made Bitcoin, right? Something no one ever thought of, right? And then the next thing he said, I'm on to move on to other things, right? That was his last message in the Bitcoin forum, right? Or one of his last messages. I'm moving on to other things. And then a new protocol comes and proof of stake instead of proof of work. And then that happens. That becomes the next biggest ROI outside of Bitcoin. And then CFB dips. And then guess what? IOTA, a directed acyclic graph, another non-Bitcoin clone, moves to the top of the ranks, right behind NXT. Like there's three, and then now Qubic. He's created three things unlike anything anyone has ever seen before. So it wouldn't be too far-fetched to think he created Bitcoin as well, right? Another fourth thing. And this is why I have a video talking about how this is the most prolific man in cryptography. He might have even helped develop Monero. Like, he's everybody's granddaddy in crypto. I'm not trying to, like, nut ride the guy, really, but it is what it is. Like, I'm going by just what I've seen. This evidence online. Like, I'm not in a library or in somebody's house looking at their IP addresses. I'm just going by things that I look up myself. It's just interesting stuff. So extrapolate whatever data you need to move on, but let's take this video into account, because I feel like this video gets lost in the noise, you know. There's a lot of noise has been going on, so let's catch up with this video again.
Including Titcoin.org, he almost decided to use instead of Bitcoin. It should.
Oh my god, wait. What? August 21st. Dude, that's... I can't say it out loud. August 21st. What do you think about Bitcoin? What do you think about To Martin? From Satoshi Nakamoto. Okay, maybe it is CFB. Because this is something CFB would say. Titcoin instead of Bitcoin. I think people might pay more attention to it since it has tit in the name. Either way, I got Titcoin.org just in case. No mames, way. I've seen this video 10 times over, but I never really absorbed how absolutely crazy that is. No. You know, I take it. I recant doubting that CFB is Satoshi based on his English writing. No. Dude, this is so funny. No, I think that's CFB for sure. If you see how he talks on Discord, he can either be really eloquent or just like not. If I could, that's so funny. Oh my, I'm just like, it's like the Weebay meme. Maybe like later I'll clip it and like edit Weebay from The Wire. I'm like, like internally, that's what I'm feeling. It's just, dude, this guy. I was just saying I don't think he's Satoshi, but now in real time, you're seeing it live. I never picked up on that. If you watch him in Discord, you know this is how CFB. No, I don't want to say this is how he is, but this is definitely not outside of the range of what CFB would be saying, as smart as you think he is, or as you know he is. All right, let me continue the video. Dude, we have 12 more minutes of this. All right, let me rewind it just a little bit more, just so you guys... Oh, that was so funny. Oh my god. All right, enjoy the rest.
A name he almost decided to use instead of Bitcoin. It should also be noted that Sergey Nazarov was busy working for the investment firm First Mark Capital and then launching his own investment company, QED Capital. He was also working on his peer-to-peer tourist experience marketplace called Exist Local. All of this happened during the time when Satoshi was developing Bitcoin.
What, say what, bitch? Wait, say what, bitch? Say that again.
Exist Local. With this Nick Szabo picked Bitcoin. It should also be noted that Sergey Nazarov was busy working for the investment firm First Mark Capital and then launching his own investment company, QED Capital. He was also working on his peer-to-peer tourist experience marketplace called Exist Local. All of this happened during the time when Satoshi was developing Bitcoin. Now let's disprove the theory that Satoshi died or went to jail before Bitcoin went mainstream.
Ooh la la.
Satoshi generated a new Bitcoin address for every block reward that he received while mining. We can assume that every unspent 50 Bitcoin block reward address either belongs to Satoshi or someone who lost their private keys a long time ago. In 2021, around the time when Craig Wright was attempting to prove that he was Satoshi, a mysterious individual posted an anonymous message with 145 Bitcoin addresses mined in 2009.
All right, what does that mean? All right, let's actually read this. Craig Stephen Wright is a liar and a fraud. Ooh, he doesn't have the keys used to sign this message. The Lightning Network is a significant achievement. However, we need to continue work on improving on-chain capacity. Unfortunately, the solution is not just change a constant in the code or to allow powerful participants to force out others. We are all Satoshi.
Each address contains 50 Bitcoin and has never been moved since their creation.
Ooh.
The owner of these 145 addresses signed each address with their respective private key, proving that he was the rightful owner of these 7,250 Bitcoin. No one other than Satoshi would...
Imagine being that, like... This is... What year is it? 2020 fucking 2026? This is like 15 years ago. Give or take, whenever this was. He has how many and he separated it? Like, imagine having the time or having the know-how to separate all that stuff with a script or a code or a bot. Dude, you know how there's like undercurrent, there's so many levels to different things. There's politics, there's sports, there's like now, and then there's coding. Nobody ever thinks about coding or the levels to coding or like nobody thinks about that. But like to do this, to me, is blowing my mind, but it's probably some amateur like shit. Like, yeah, you can create stuff like that easily. But this is Bitcoin we're talking about now. This isn't just some random code. This is Bitcoin. All right, let me rewind it. I'm just like, as I'm watching it again, even though I've said, I've seen this video multiple times. The more I watch it, the more it blows my mind, because more information keeps coming out. All right, let's run it back just a little bit more, and then we'll catch back up.
Respective private key, proving that he was the rightful owner of these 7,250 Bitcoin. No one other than Satoshi would hold Bitcoin for this amount of time and not spend them. This was also at a time when there were only a handful of individuals mining Bitcoin. On top of that, in October of 2024, a Bitcoin wallet that mined Bitcoin just 5 days after the Genesis address moved some coins to an exchange. 5 days after Bitcoin launched, the only individuals who were mining were Hal Finney and Satoshi. Since Hal is dead, it is very clear that Satoshi is still very much alive and well. So we've covered who Satoshi isn't. Now let's dive into who Satoshi is. Satoshi is a programmer from Belarus by the name of Sergey Nikolaevich Ivancheglo. He also has been known by the aliases Come From Beyond, CFB for short, BC Next, and Satoshi Nakamoto. Of course, when Sergey Ivancheglo has been asked if he is Satoshi, he has said that he is not Satoshi, as has every other individual accused of being Satoshi. However, none of the other individuals pointed their finger at another candidate. They merely denied the accusation and moved on. Sergey Ivancheglo, however, has tried to deflect from the fact that he is Satoshi by claiming that Sergey Nazarov is Satoshi. This is a clear act of projection. Sergey Ivancheglo does not want to be known as Satoshi at this time, so he deflected the attention.
Occam's razor. It might just be him. Maybe it's so obviously him we don't want to believe it. It could just be that. We're making it too complicated. It could just be him. I mean, he's not making a crazy point. It's not far-fetched. It could just be him. Let's run it back just a little bit more.
Denied the accusation and moved on. Sergey Ivancheglo, however, has tried to deflect from the fact that he is Satoshi by claiming that Sergey Nazarov is Satoshi. This is a clear act of projection. Sergey Ivancheglo does not want to be known as Satoshi at this time, so he deflected the attention away from him onto Sergey Nazarov, who is not Satoshi. Projection is a common trait among those who have cluster B personality disorders, which includes narcissistic personality disorder. On Sergey Ivancheglo's website, he has admitted to having a narcissistic personality disorder from his doctor, so do not believe him when he says that Sergey Nazarov is Satoshi. He's projecting what he does not want to be known about himself onto Sergey Nazarov.
Ooh la la.
Now let's get into how Sergey Ivancheglo, Come From Beyond, CFB, BC Next.
This reminds me of the Rick and Morty episode of when the psychiatrist broke down Rick at the family therapy session. Pickle Rick, yes. The Pickle Rick episode.
Because I'm a scientist. Because I invent, transform, create, and destroy for a living. And when I don't like something about the world, I change it. And I don't think going to a rented office in a strip mall to listen to some agent of averageness explain which words mean which feelings has ever helped anyone do anything. I think it's helped a lot of people get comfortable and stop panicking, which is a state of mind we value in the animals we eat, but not something I want for myself. I'm not a cow. I'm a pickle when I feel like it. So, you asked.
Rick, the only connection between your unquestionable intelligence and the sickness destroying your family is that everyone in your family, you included, use intelligence to justify sickness. You seem to alternate between viewing your own mind as an unstoppable force and as an inescapable curse. And I think it's because the only truly unapproachable concept for you is that it's your mind within your control. You chose to come here, you chose to talk, to belittle my vocation, just as you chose to become a pickle. You are the master of your universe, and yet you are dripping with rat blood and feces, your enormous mind literally vegetating by your own hand. I have no doubt that you would be bored senseless by therapy, the same way I'm bored when I brush my teeth and wipe my ass. Because the thing about repairing, maintaining, and cleaning is, it's not an adventure. There's no way to do it so wrong you might die. It's just work. And the bottom line is, some people are okay going to work, and some people would rather die. Each of us gets to choose.
Dude. This was so deep. That was such that.
That's our time. I'm going to give you guys my card and hope to hear from you again. And if you have any friends or family that eat poop and would like to stop, give them my number.
Dude. Anyway, that just reminded me of Pickle Rick. I'm willing to demonetize my my stream for that. That's what that reminded me of. Let's run it back just a little bit more. Oopsie. Didn't mean to do that. Okay.
A message from community member Mike Hearn in April of 2011. At this point, Satoshi had already been absent from the Bitcoin community for some time. When asked if he was going to return to the community or not, his response was, "I've moved on to other things. It's in good hands with Gavin and everyone." This proves that Satoshi was active in another crypto project after he left Bitcoin.
Ooh la la.
Satoshi's final comment on the Bitcoin Talk forum came in a comment in December of 2010, where he stated, "As Gavin and I have said clearly before, the software is not at all resistant to DOS attack. This is one improvement, but there are still more ways to attack than I can count." So Satoshi left Bitcoin because the project had too many technical flaws and could not achieve his vision.
Satoshi left Bitcoin because it had too many flaws and it could not maintain his technical vision. Gee golly willikers. Bitcoin, the most devastating proof of work protocol, life-changing. Oh, the president said this and this guy said that and Michael Saylor's. Oh my God, take my money. Bitcoin, Satoshi Nakamoto himself said Bitcoin has too many flaws. Do I have to rewind that? I think I do. Let's rewind it. And play.
So Satoshi left Bitcoin because the project had too many technical flaws and could not achieve his vision. So what was this new project that Satoshi was working on? The Satoshi accounts never posted again. This is because Satoshi started his new project under a different pseudonym. The new project NXT launched in 2013 and was the first fully proof-of-stake blockchain 9 years before Ethereum transitioned to a proof-of-stake consensus. The founder of NXT went by the pseudonym BCNext. His username hints at the fact that he is Satoshi.
Did you guys hear that?
BCNext. Bitcoin of NXT 9 years different pseudonym.
9 years.
And was the first fully proof-of-stake blockchain 9 years before Ethereum transitioned to
The first fully proof-of-stake blockchain 9 years before Ethereum.
a proof-of-stake consensus. The founder of NXT went by the pseudonym BCNext. His username hints at the fact that he is Satoshi. BCNext. Bitcoin Next. And that NXT was Bitcoin's next evolutionary step. This hint is...
Who is BCNext? I don't know. Do you know who is Satoshi? Since NXT is a descendant of Bitcoin, I guess the creator must have also followed in the footsteps of his blah blah blah. There must be a reason for it, but who knows?
in line with the behavior of Sergey Ivancheglo, as he has been known to purposefully confuse and manipulate people's ideas about his true identity.
It could be possible, as CFB is from Belarus. And maybe the two are conversing in Russian, which may explain why CFB never made the discussion logs public. Not saying it's a bad thing. If he was really BC Next, then he would be a good public face, but obviously most crypto developers try to remain anonymous to avoid the securities law. Yeah, so he's never gonna probably say he's him.
Many community members speculated that BC Next was...
I know there were various discussions about whether Satoshi Nakamoto, BC Next, and Q Cora are the same person. What do you think? This was back in 2015. Jesus.
Satoshi, because they both use pseudonyms, and NXT fixed many of the technical flaws inherent in Bitcoin's design. The other account that posed as a developer of the NXT project went under the pseudonym Come From Beyond, or CFB for short. CFB has been active since the beginning of the Bitcoin Talk forum, and the username CFB dates back to at least 2000, with this article written here. There were many discussions on posts on the Bitcoin Talk forum where CFB would respond to BC Next and vice versa. Still, some in the community claimed that CFB and BC Next were the same individual. CFB even went as far as making a post asking people to pose their arguments as to why he could or couldn't be the same individual as BC Next. Eventually, development on NXT ended because it could not achieve his vision, similarly to how Satoshi left Bitcoin.
Ooh. Oh, this is starting to sound familiar even with IOTA. Oh, dude, this is, you know what? The more I'm listening to this, holy it might be him. Because the same thing happened with IOTA. He couldn't do it with IOTA. Oh no. Oh, I was doubtful, but it might be. Oh no.
Sergey Ivancheglo started a new project called IOTA.
Oh!
In order to shed more credibility on IOTA, Sergey signed a message with BC Next's private key, proving that the two individuals, BC Next and CFB, were one and the same.
Oh!
So now we have cryptographic proof that BC Next is CFB.
BC Next is CFB. Oh my goodness in heaven.
But can we prove that CFB is also Satoshi? One thing we know for certain is that Sergey Ivancheglo likes to confuse people by assuming different online identities and changing his writing style. This has been documented.
Does he change his writing style though? Because that's kind of what threw me off. I'm like, this guy doesn't write English really well. And then other times he writes perfect English. Like, Satoshi writes perfect English. This guy doesn't.
One thing we know for certain is that Sergey Ivancheglo likes to confuse people by assuming different online identities.
Alright. There were other people besides Satoshi mining Bitcoin in that period. I watched in real time one of them posting the proof on Bitcoin.
And changing his writing style. This has been documented.
It's like I have multiple Twitter accounts. I could be like that too.
Many times, including here. And here, where Come From Beyond states that BC Next was a sock puppet created for NXT and will never appear again, like Satoshi and Bitcoin. And here, where he jokingly admitted to being Satoshi and shared some details on how he picked that name. And here, where he gives a link on how to change writing styles, states he holds 800,000 Bitcoin, and then claims to not be Satoshi. Then we also have this post where a user asks Come From Beyond about one of Satoshi's addresses starting with 1CFB. Another user chimed in saying that the CFB alias was not used at the time of the address's creation, and that Sergey corrected the user by posting links to some old articles Come From Beyond had written in 2002. He then goes on to discuss the potential of having multiple personalities, hinting at the fact that he does own the 1CFB address and is Satoshi. Here he admits he is Satoshi again. Of course, the 1CFB address could be chalked up to a mere coincidence, but in this thread here, we have Satoshi talking about vanity addresses, where someone's initials are the first few characters of an address. The very next day after Satoshi made this post, the 1CFB address was created. And if this isn't enough to convince you, BC Next had a vanity address that started with 1BCN.
Wait a second.
Of course, BC Next is confirmed address. The very next day after Satoshi made this post, the 1CFB address was in this thread here. We have.
I just thought of something. Eventually, there will be some interest in brute force scanning Bitcoin addresses to find one with the first few characters customized to your name. Kind of like getting a phone number that spells something. Just by chance, I have my initials. Satoshi Nakamoto. Okay.
Satoshi talking about vanity addresses, where someone's initials are the first few characters of an address. The very next day after Satoshi made this post, the 1CFB.
Good God Almighty. The very next day, he says. Dude, at least... Dude, he got too excited, man. Dude, criminals always slip up somewhere. Dude, this guy's a detective, whoever made this. Dude, 50 BTC, this is one of those addresses. Oh my God. 50 BTC.
Was created. And if this isn't enough to convince you, BC Next had a vanity address that started with 1 BCN. Of course, BC Next is confirmed to be come from beyond, as this was cryptographically proved in 2017.
Oh my god. That's so crazy. Oh no. That's so crazy. Are you guys following this? BC Next had the vanity address. Satoshi was the one talking about having a vanity address. No one knew about that. But BC Next... I'm going to rewind it again one more time. Just so you guys are... Dude, look at this email right here.
And, of course, the one...
From Satoshi Nakamoto to Hal Finney. Okay, should we read the rest? It was getting there. The zombie knows you gotta accept the block. Blah, blah, blah. You can submit Bitcoin. You can always further. Blah, blah, blah. All right. And then he says, I just thought of something. Eventually, there will be some interest in brute force scanning Bitcoin addresses to find one with the first few characters customized to your name. Kind of like getting a phone number that spells out something. Just by chance, I have my initials. Okay, let's play it. Now let's play it again.
One CFB address could be chalked up to a mere coincidence, but in this thread here, we have Satoshi talking about vanity addresses, where someone's initials are the first few characters of an address. The very next day after Satoshi made this post, the one CFB address was created. And if this isn't enough to convince you, BC Next had a vanity address that started with 1 BCN. Of course, BC Next is confirmed to be come from beyond, as this was cryptographically proved in 2017. Another
That's so crazy.
confirmed Satoshi address starts with the characters 15 UBIC, which is a vanity address that looks surprisingly similar to Qubic. Qubic was first publicly talked about in 2012. It is safe to assume the name Qubic has been in Sergey's head for years prior to the official announcement. Again, we have Sergey stating he owns 800,000 Bitcoin, an amount that nobody other than Satoshi would own. This is more than even BlackRock owns. Here we have CFB talking about how he found some of his old private keys hard-coded into an old Bitcoin miner. He states that at the time, Bitcoin could only be mined with CPU. If you look at the date of creation of CFB's Bitcoin Talk Forum account, it was created in November of 2011. However, GPU mining was introduced to Bitcoin in October of 2010, engaging with the Bitcoin Talk Forum before his CFB account was created there. This is because before Sergey was posting on Bitcoin Talk under CFB, he was posting under the Satoshi account.
Ooh,
Here we have CFB stating that if anything were to happen,
skip it up, skip it up, skip it up.
GPU mining was introduced to Bitcoin in October. These Bitcoin Talk coded into an old Bitcoin miner.
I just realized that I can find old private key hard-coded in my custom Bitcoin miner. I kept that code together with other old programs I wrote. Imagine how old that BTC address is if CPU mining was the only thing back then. Ooh.
He states that at the time, Bitcoin could only be mined with CPU. If you look at the date of creation of CFB's Bitcoin Talk Forum account, it was created in November of 2011. However, GPU mining was introduced to Bitcoin in October of 2010, meaning that Sergey was engaging with the Bitcoin Talk Forum before his CFB account was created there.
Ooh.
This is because before Sergey was posting on Bitcoin Talk under CFB...
Oh, he slipped up again. Dude, this guy's a real detective. Oh my god. Don't let the corny retro music fool you. This guy is a real detective. Oh my god, he caught him slipping. How do you do that?
He was posting under the Satoshi account. Here we have CFB stating that if anything were to happen to him,
The U.S. government knows that if I stop refreshing a special web page every month, 250k BTC will be automatically transferred to their worst nightmare, so I'm fine. Okay, thanks for worrying. Jeez Louise. That doesn't sound, good.
150,000 Bitcoin would be sent to the United States' worst enemy. This also aligns with this article that states that the US government knows who Satoshi is. Perhaps the most conclusive evidence to sum up all of the information outlined above happened when a researcher examined a piece of code uploaded by Satoshi. He found that Satoshi was trying to hide his identity behind a Russian proxy. After searching the internet, results showed that a user named Sergey had used the same proxy as Satoshi to log into a website to review hotels in Vietnam. To top it off, there was also an April Fool's joke paper written by BC Next, CFB, and Satoshi. The subject matter of this paper is satire, but perhaps the biggest joke about this paper is the fact that it claims to have 3 authors, when in fact, Sergey Ivancheglo wrote this by himself under his 3 pseudonyms.
Oh.
So there you have it.
The narcissist comes out. Oh no, is it true?
Sergey Ivancheglo, the founder of Bitcoin, NXT, IOTA, and Qubic. Even after Sergey's departure, IOTA is still under active development and has partnered with the government in the UAE to make IOTA's core technology the backbone of their data and financial infrastructure. Meanwhile, Sergey is working on Qubic, which launched at the end of 2023. Qubic aims to solve the problems that he sees in cryptocurrency projects, including the ones he created. Whether or not he will be able to solve these problems this time around is anyone's guess. Now that we know that Sergey Ivancheglo is Satoshi Nakamoto, and that he holds 800,000 Bitcoin, let's see what he plans to do with those coins. Sergey has said that he is going through a divorce and has moved to Cyprus after the proceedings. He states that he needs to split his 800,000 Bitcoin holdings with his wife. According to the laws in Cyprus, if Sergey withholds finances from his wife during a divorce, and the finances are discovered, his wife will get 100% of the undisclosed assets. Sergey cannot spend his Bitcoin holdings until after he has been in Cyprus for 183 days. These 183 days...
it's kind of getting in the weeds here, but
days
let's finish it off.
And sometime in January of 2025. His ex-wife has no intention of holding these Bitcoin and plans to sell them as soon as possible. Sergey has said that it'll be a race between him and his wife to cash out on their Bitcoin holdings first. Sergey has said he plans to crash the price of Bitcoin to single digits to send a message. He also states that he is not upset about his wife taking half of his fortune because he will make far more money on AI. When Sergey talks about AI, he's talking about his new revolutionary AI algorithm called AI Garth, which will launch on Qubic. It is safe to assume that Sergey plans on selling his Bitcoin holdings to buy Qubic. The irony of Bitcoin being created to oppose reckless government money printing, only to end up...
Yes, we watched this just to circle right back to the point of this actual live stream.
Selling his Bitcoin holdings to buy Qubic.
Yes, 400k BTC will be dumped in 2025. This was in 2024 he said this. 2024 he said this. Yeah. 2024. All right.
Irony of Bitcoin being created to oppose reckless government money printing, only to end up getting adopted by those very same governments it was intended to replace. The final step in this unlikely journey is when Satoshi beats the government at their own game by devaluing their currency, Bitcoin.
Mic drop.